Yuval Noah Harari's Sapiens, A Brief History of Mankind, is not just a book about history, it's a sweeping, provocative exploration of how a small, unremarkable ape evolved into the most dominant, dangerous species on planet. Harari traces our journey from being primitive voyagers to godlike creators of artificial intelligence and genetic engineering. But this is no dry chronology, it's a gripping, deeply human narrative that reveals how imagination, myth, power, greed, and curiosity shape the world that we live in today. With every chapter, Harari invites us to ask not just how we got here, but whether we truly know where we are going. So this video lecture is dedicated to celebrating this book and the teachings of this book in brief. About 13.5 billion years ago, matter, energy, time and space came into being in what is known as the Big Bang. The story of these fundamental features of our universe is called physics. And about 3000 years after their appearance, matter and energy started to coalesce into complex structures called atoms, which then combined into molecules. The story of atoms and molecules and their subsequent interactions is called chemistry. And later, about 3.8 billion years ago, on a planet called Earth, certain molecules combined to form particularly large and intricate structures called organisms. And the story of these organisms is called biology. About 70,000 years ago only, these organisms belonging to the species called Homo sapiens started to form even more elaborate structures called cultures. The subsequent development of these human cultures is called history. There have been three important revolutions that shaped the course of history. First, the cognitive revolution that kick-started human history about 70,000 years ago, as said. Second, the agricultural revolution that sped up about, you can say, 12,000 years ago something. And third, the scientific revolution, which got underway only about 500 something years ago and may well end the history and start something completely new altogether. And this book tells us the story of these three revolutions and more, and how these have affected human history and their fellow organisms. Back then, the earth was ruled by raw muscle and primitive instinct. Lions roared, mammoths thundered, and we humans, well, we were just scattered apes, easily ignored or eaten for that matter. And then something cracked open inside our minds, a spark, a mutation, and suddenly Homo sapiens could imagine the invisible, like spirits in rivers, demons in caves, and ancestors in the stars. And we began to create something out of nothing, some meaning out of nothing. And this was called cognitive revolution. Language became a weapon, storytelling became survival. 500 gossiping humans could outmaneuver any predator or rival species. Like within millennia, sapiens wiped out every other human species. Neanderthals, Denisovan or Homo floresiensis. The world belonged to storytellers now. We once roared as free spirits, wild, wandering and well-fed. And then came wheat, barley and rice. Farming was hailed as progress, but Harari calls it history's biggest scam. We traded freedom for fields and variety for security. We became slaves to seasons, floods and pests. The result? Villages, cities, kingdoms, famine, hierarchy and misery. As food surpluses grew, so did people, so did control. Property was invented, women became possessions, peasants toiled, kings ruled, and the gods we imagined in the forest now demanded temples, priests and blood. This was called agricultural revolution. We thought we had mastered it. Turns out it had mastered us. With more people came more problems and grander solutions. To govern strangers, we invented shared myths. Religion gave moral order, empires gave structure and expansion, money gave universal trust. And from the Code of Hammurabi to the Bible, from Roman Senate to the Chinese Mandate of Heaven, people united under imaginary truths. And these truths forged roads, borders, crusades, and colonialism. Empires rose and fell like tides. Akkadians, Persians, Romans, Mongols, British, they spread language, tech, trade, and war, slave, and misery. By 1500 CE, Common Era, the world was increasingly interconnected by belief, conquest, and commerce. And then suddenly somebody whispered, "What if Bible is not enough?" And that whisper became a roar. And then started the scientific revolution. And for the first time, ignorance wasn't a shame. In fact, it was an opportunity. Galileo looked up. Newton calculated motion. Explorers reviewed the world, and with each discovery came more power. Now, empires wore lab coats. The age wasn't just about telescopes and theories. It was also about domination. Science served capitalism and imperialism as well. Europeans mapped genome and mapped continents, but for profits. They cured diseases, but colonized bodies. Knowledge was weaponized, but it also cracked open the reality, the truths. Enter the Industrial Revolution. Machines replaced muscles, coal lit factories, cities swallowed villages, and a god emerged called growth. Capitalism demanded endless expansion. Businesses needed profits. Governments needed productivity. And to keep the engine running, we invented consumerism, a belief system that says that buying things makes you happy. People were reprogrammed mentally. Identity is equal to job title. Freedom is equal to shopping spree. Dream is equal to home ownership, not cosmic purpose. We made life longer, safer, and faster, but also emptier. Our planet groaned, inequality surged. We became consumers before citizens. We became credit card holders before thinkers. And now we stand on the brink of a new species. We are editing DNA like Word documents. We are building artificial minds with more logic but less empathy. We are dreaming of immortality, silicon body, bioenhancement, consciousness uploading. We are gods now. But Harari asks, do we even know what we want? For 70,000 years, we have hunted meaning, purpose, peace, and we still chase it. We are more powerful than ever, but we are also more confused than ever. Will we build a paradise or will we self-destruct? The future is not written in stone. It's coded in decisions that we make every day and that we make right now. This is an awesome book and I believe everybody must read it. This is it in this video for now. Please subscribe our channel for more such video lessons and for more such enlightenments. My name is Dr. Ruben Singh. I'll see you in the next one. Jai Hind and Jai Bharat.